Okay, today we're going to look at Internet Explorer, and then we're also going to move into the Microsoft Office program, and we're going to look at some of the things that are similar in the different programs. So first we're going to start with Internet Explorer. Obviously you all should be able to use Internet Explorer somewhat because you wouldn't be using Blackboard if you couldn't get into it. But I'm going to go ahead and open this with Internet. You can see that I've Internet Explorer. You can see that I've got two programs on this computer. There's Internet Explorer and there's Mozilla Firefox. So I think I'll just open up both of them because there's a couple of things I want to show you about that. In here, right now I'm in Google, and you can see that there's a favorites bar, and that's a really neat tool. I'm going to also minimize that program, and I'm going to go ahead and open up Firefox as well. And Firefox is opening a little bit slower. So we'll wait just a second for it to open. I'm going to change my cursor options so you guys can see the cursor better on this. But we'll wait just a second. Alright, so here's Firefox. And in Firefox, remember in Google it was called Favorites, and here it's called Bookmarks. Well, it gets you the same thing depending on what browser you're using. So if I'm in Bookmarks and I want to save something, I just click on it and I bookmark this page, and it will let me give it a different name. So this, it's going to default to what the official name of the page is, but I could just, maybe I just want to call this Firefox. And so you can see that I can change the name, and then I'll just press done. And that will save it in the bookmarks. So if I go back to bookmarks and I'm in some other place, you can see that I've got Firefox down here. And then it will go right to it. So I'm going to close Firefox, and we're going to work in Internet. So Internet Explorer works just like that. I've got a favorites bar, and I can click on favorites and I can add two favorites, and this is defaulting to Google. So I'm going to just add that. And I could have done the same thing and changed the name on it. So I'm going to click on favorites again, and you can see that Google is there. Alright, up here, this is called the URL, which stands for the Uniform Resource Locator. And it's really neat what you can do with this. If I just click on it and I have to turn it one color, and it may be a different color on your computer, and then I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to copy. If I want to email that URL to somebody, I can email that, and when I paste it into my email or I paste it into Word, it becomes a link, and the person that I'm emailing it to can open it up when they click on that link. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Word. Now, I'm just going to open it up from here. I've got Microsoft Office Word here, and we're going to see a couple of different ways to open up programs. So we'll let it open. Now remember, I copied and pasted that URL for Google into my clipboard, which is kind of behind the scenes. Now I'm in Word. I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste. And when I do that, it's going to paste that URL in there. I'm going to hit enter. When I hit enter, it turns it into a link. Did you see how it underlined it? So now it is a link, and if I just hover over that, it will tell me to control click to follow the link. So if I can hold down my control key and I click on my mouse, it will open it up. And so it works the same way. If you paste that into an email for a page that you want to share with a friend or with a colleague or something, you can go ahead and paste that URL into the different Microsoft Suite programs, and you're going to automatically get a link. I'm going to show you a website that I really like. Now, we talked about favorites, how you can find a page that you really like and save it on favorites. Maybe you like, I'm going to search for MSN.com, and I can click on MSN. So you can see how I can search for something using Google. There's a couple of engines I really like. There's this search engine. I'm going to search for this other one. It's called dogpile.com. So Dogpile web search. And I actually like this web search engine. It still brings up different things. but sometimes it brings it up in a different order than Google does, and you'll get different hits with it. So I kind of like this search engine sometimes. There's also ask.com. Let's search for that. Ask.com is another search engine. And I also like this for certain things. It just depends on what I'm looking for, depending what search engine that I'll use. But I'm gonna go ahead and look for this website that I really like. It's called Delicious. And so I typed Delicious in there, and it's not bringing it up in there. So here it is. It's post it Delicious. There it is. When I search it in Google, it just comes right to the front. But here it is. It's oh, I just saw it. It's this Post It Delicious. So it's del.icio.us. I'm going to search for that in Google. So see, I'm going to come up here to the URL. I'm going to type in google.com. And this time I'm going to search for Delicious. Let's see if it comes up a little. Yeah, see, in Google it actually came up first, and that is the website that I'm looking for. It did find it in Ask or Dogpile, wherever it was. And this is a really neat social bookmarking website. So when you use favorites in Internet Explorer, or you use the other program, Firefox, and you get bookmarks, those are just saved on your computer. So if you have a desktop computer at home and you're saving things to favorites or to your bookmarks, it stays there on your computer and you can't really take it with you. So Delicious is a place to save all of your favorite websites, and it's really neat. When I was working on a couple of years ago, I was working on a master's degree, and I used this quite extensively. I don't use it so much anymore just because I don't have time, but I'm going to go ahead and sign in, and I'm going to show you some of these things that are on here. So I'm going to, now you can go ahead and, I really would like guys to play with this a little bit. I'm going to sign into it and just show you a few of the features. Okay, so I'm signed in, and it has all of my favorite things in here. I'm going to go to options, and oh, actually down here I want to click on all tags. And so it brought up all my tags that I use, that I've saved to the internet. And there's different things that I use for work. Mostly, like I said, I used this for something when I was in school a couple years ago. But I can click on Wiki, for example. Wiki is a really neat way to create a really easy web page that you can share with other people, and it really is part of this Web 2.0 that you keep hearing about, where you can read, write. You can read on the web, and you can write on the web. Say that a few times and see if you mess up like I just did. But it's a neat website. Because I was getting a degree in education, I had a lot of education sites, and so you can tag them and you can categorize them, and that's not something you can do with your favorites up here, or like I said in Firefox, if you can bookmark it. So it's really neat. It's really a neat thing to use. Here's a website that I really like. It's this calculator. I click on that, it brings up this cost of living calculator. Now if I right click on that, it will open it up in a new window. So I can say open in a new window, and then my Delicious will stay up here. And so what this is a website where you can compare salaries across states. So for example, if you wanted to move California, you know that it's more expensive to live in California than it is in New Mexico, although Rio Doce is rather expensive. But you can put in your current city, how much you're currently earning, and it will calculate what it would cost you to live somewhere else. So that's kind of a neat website that I came across. The other neat thing about Delicious is that once again you can categorize your bookmarks. You do have to download some quick icons to make it do that really quick. In this computer that I'm using, it doesn't have those icons in there. But you can also network. So if you look over here, there's this network, and you can either do this or you don't have to. But when I was working with Delicious quite a bit, I did network with a couple of people, and they were both educators, and So I can click on them and then I can get all of their bookmarks too. And so if you have something that you're interested in and you know somebody else that's interested in it, you can network with them and you can get all sorts of information that way because they're searching for websites, you're searching for websites, and you can share. So this particular person that I had networked with, she teaches a lot of education courses. She's a K through 12 teacher, but she also teaches college courses. So she's got a lot of stuff in there to do with reading and writing and games and things like that. So if I'm an educator, boy, this is really neat. This is a person that lives in Colorado, and I can get all of her bookmarks and see what she's using if I'm an educator. So that's what is really neat about Delicious, is that you can network or you can choose not to. It's secure. You can subscribe to something that you're interested in, and it works really neat. I'll have to do this again for you, but you go back and you just download a couple of icons, and then you just click on the icon when you're at a web page that you like, and it will save it right to it. So that and that there's different tags. Let me show you this really quick. Is just tags. There's different tags so you can make up your own as well. Alright, so I'm going to just minimize that. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that, and then we're going to go ahead and move into looking at some stuff with Microsoft Office, because there's Microsoft Office has a lot of the same features for the different programs that it uses. I'm going to close this.